Okay, on this video we're going to talk about blowing through the pole and what that means and how to identify it. The first huge indication that you're blowing through the pole is, one, where is the athlete landing in the pit? And Danielle, you can see, is landing quite a bit deep in the pit. Typically we want our athletes landing right about here to anywhere to here. And you can see that Danielle is landing, her hips are way back here and deep in the pit. So that's a good indication that A, she's blowing through the pole. Another good indication that an athlete is blowing through the pole is at what angle is the pole finishing its catapult. So what is the catapult? Well, the catapult is when the pole is bent, when does it finish and when is it straight? So if it straightens out at this point, right about there, okay, now it's straight, there's no more energy, potential energy in that pole, now it's all converted into kinetic. This pole, if you draw a line of vertical reference, and we're going to use the standards as a vertical reference, because that's about as vertical as it gets, you can see that her pole is past 90 degrees, okay, so it's gone past past the vertical line, where I guess that would not be 90, that would be, actually, you could call that 90. So as long as it means past the 90-degree marker. So that's another good indication that she's blown through the pole. Sometimes if an athlete's holding high on a pole, say like 16 foot if you're in college, another good indication of blowing through a pole is as the pole bends, the pole will actually bend past that 90 degrees and actually sag down. We talked about this in an earlier video about the 90-degree rule and using that as a reference. But if this is 90 degrees right here, if a pole ever goes past that mark and bends down, and you'll see that a lot on those longer poles with the college guys, that could be an indication of blowing through a stick. So there's three real good ways to determine blowing through. There's the bend of the pole, there's the catapult release phase of the pole, and then how far the athlete's landing in the pit. So if you see any of those indications, you can probably assume or postulate that the athlete is definitely blowing through a stick. I hope that was helpful.